Oh, hello there, and welcome to a Filthy Talk. A Filthy Talk. A Filthy Lots weekly live panel discussion show coming to you live from North Vancouver on the traditional territories of the Squamish Nation. We'd like to recognize the privilege we have to work, play, and create on these beautiful lands, and we encourage you at home, either on Twitch or if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, to comment in the chat or comment in the comments below what traditional territories you are watching from, and if you don't know, look it up. I'm Trevor Gemma. This is Roz Young. Returning as fact checker, we have Ryan White back in the seat of fact checking and moderating. Welcome back, man.
I didn't get a shot there, so. Hello. Now I'm here.
Okay, so we're gonna get into nerd news. Before we do, a little bit of news with what's going on at a Filthy Lot. First of all, I need to reiterate, we have a Filthy Lot on YouTube, we have a Funny Lot on YouTube, and we have a Filthy Quest line. In case this is your first time here and you don't know about that, I feel like we don't talk about it enough. We just kind of take it as moot, but we've got 3 YouTube channels. Please subscribe to those. And if you're watching on Twitch and you, Questline is also a Filthy Lot on Twitch. That's all that stuff goes on to a Filthy Questline after the fact. So if you've missed any of that stuff, except for Filthy Talk, which goes in the main channel, it's very confusing.
Move on.
Yeah. So what's new with us today? Was it today? We had What's in Your Car episode 2 come out on a Funny Lot, which is a very.
He just does a little lean out from behind the camera there.
All right, we got the man in front of the camera on that show is behind the camera on this show. Owen's very funny in that. If you haven't seen the first one, check it out.
He's also just very funny.
He's very funny. You don't need to see the first one to watch the second one, but it might make a little more sense. Not really.
Will it?
No, not really.
It's all canon.
Yeah, it's all canon. Next week this week was the behind the scenes on the lot episode about a show we have called Nocturnes from our main channel. And next week we have the second episode of that coming out. Tuesday next week we have Shadows of Blood continuation, so episode 4 of our ongoing D&D campaign. This past Monday, we started our new e-casting, which if you were watching it, thanks for being there. If not, check it out. Next Monday will be episode
Jason.
1. It was episode 0, right?
Yep, test.
Yeah, so episode 1 is next
Some
Monday.
minor technical difficulties that they handled with infinite grace.
And poise, was there poise?
Yes, grace and poise. Miss Congeniality Awards all around.
Yeah, if you don't know what e-casting is, think of it as ESPN for competitive video games. It's actually really
It's a thing people know about.
Yeah, it's dope. And then we also have on a Funny Lot next week, we've done a thing here recently called the Canadian Heritage Seconds, and next week's episode centers around Terry Fox. So check that
That's right.
out.
New generation, shorter attention spans.
Yeah. I mean, even growing up, we were called the microwave generation. It's true. The MTV generation, it's like, you want everything really quick cut, that whole attention span.
I'm already bored.
8 seconds, exactly. So nerd news, what do you want to talk about?
There's a new Switch coming. I want to talk about this.
There's a new Switch?
There's a new Switch. I hope you're not excited because it's super underwhelming. All it does is have an OLED screen. Ryan.
Have you, excuse me, if you're not excited about the new Switch, have you heard about the new Valve handheld console?
Yeah.
It's literally next on your thing.
It's the next thing on my card, because don't get excited about the Switch. Get mad about the Switch. Get excited.
What was the thing about the Switch? It's only got what?
It has an OLED screen that's slightly larger.
I mean,
it
that's
is
kind of exciting.
7 inches instead of 6.2.
That's a surprising difference for a handheld. It is.
It's more expensive.
But it's OLED. OLED's great.
Okay, well, you can buy one, and anyone at home who doesn't have a Switch, maybe you'll want that. But what you might actually want is what Ryan is talking about, Steam Deck, a handheld device from Valve. It's going to connect to your Steam account. You can play all your Steam games.
All your Steam games?
All your Steam games,
How
buddy.
powerful is this thing?
I can tell you.
You sure?
Please do.
It has an AMD Navi 2 CPU and 8 of their RDNA CUDA cores. The fact that I knew that off the top of my head, I wasn't looking at that on a screen. I read that earlier.
So impressed.
But basically,
Nerd.
it's like a low mid-tier gaming computer.
Wow.
7-inch, disappointingly only 720p screen, but I mean, I guess when you're working with limited power, lower resolution means more frames.
It's got a 5-minute battery life.
They're saying 2 to 4 hours of gameplay battery life. But it runs Linux, but it uses this thing called Proton, which is like a sort of shell for Linux that lets you run Windows executable code with very little performance hit. So you're basically going to be able to run any game on Steam on this device.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
What's it called?
$3.99.
Deck.
$3.99 to start, going up to
What did you think it was
$5.50.
called, sir?
I heard Steve Deck. I was like, that's a weird name. Why would you call your gaming console Steve? At the same time, why not? That's kind of sweet. It might work. Get the new Steve Deck.
Yeah, I'm into
I'd
it.
buy a Steve Deck.
I'm curious about that one.
Now I want them. I demand they change their name before I buy one.
News is over.
So this next little bit is going to be a little bit spoilery. So spoiler alert. We were not going to be too spoilery because we don't want to be dicks. But we're just excited about it because
wanna
last
be
night
dicks.
was the season finale of Loki. We won't give too much away,
We won't.
but
Did you like it?
I really did. I was getting nervous because I'm going to be spoilery up to last week's episode, which is
Yeah, I mean that's fair. If you
they
haven't
still-
watched yeah.
And it's mostly
people are
the-
running away. They don't want to hear.
Yeah, yeah. Fast forward till there should be a
It's on the screen.
spoiler alert on the screen.
Yep.
If you're watching this on YouTube, just fast forward until it's gone. They hadn't revealed the big bad all the way up until the season finale.
Yeah,
And that-
weird. Felt
That's
weird.
a crazy thing to do.
Felt weird.
And it made me suspicious of who it was going to be.
Yeah, you said they thought maybe it would be Loki, and I was totally just like, is it just another Loki at the end? God.
Yeah, I thought it would be like a Loki that's lived for
Yeah.
all of time and that kind of a thing.
They're
and it'd
survivors.
actually be Tom Hiddleston. And
If
that's
it
the
could have
spoiler.
been, if it
It's
could have been
not.
the alligator Loki, I would have lost my.
That
that would have been amazing.
if they
That
just
would have been
went
the best.
Full left field.
Right?
So I won't say who it is, but I will say that they don't actually say who it is,
They don't.
technically.
They don't.
Yeah. You're
But
They
the-
allude pretty heavily.
They allude very heavily. If you have any comic book knowledge, then you probably know. If you don't have any like Marvel Comics knowledge, though, you don't.
What do they list him on as IMDb as his?
Probably just He Who Remains.
He Who Remains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what did you
they-
think? Did you like it? I really liked it.
Yeah, I was into it. I was way more into Loki the show than Loki in any of the Marvel movies.
That's fair.
Yeah, I like the
I like
TVA.
the original villain Loki, like First Avengers. I dug him then.
He was okay. And then he was the same every other time after that. Oh, I'm gonna betray you. Oh, I betray
Yeah.
you again. Oh, you trust me? I betray you again. I mean, it gets a little repetitive.
He kind of leaned into that though. I mean,
And then they made fun of it on the show, and it was perfect. Because, like,
Yeah.
yes, make fun of it. It's stupid.
On the show gives him an arc. It made him a more complete character,
And I like
an
Sully.
anti-hero.
Yeah. Ryan.
Without giving anything away, how uncomfortable did that moment towards the end make the two of you?
The smooches?
Yeah.
It,
That's giving it away. I was trying to be vague, but you
Nope.
said it.
Nope. Smooches are free reign.
Okay.
it wasn't the most convincing kiss I've ever seen. It felt like watching someone kiss their sister.
Have you kissed yourself? Maybe that's what it looks like.
I have not yet. Cloning. Waiting for that. Okay, let's get past the spoiler things.
Too many things.
Okay, we'll get more into Loki maybe at a later time on a more Marvel-specific kind of thing. So, on to the bulk of the show. We need more people up here. So, introducing first, you've seen him before, and speaking of Nocturnes, which is coming out next week, episode 2, the creator and performer of the first Nocturnes and director of it, I believe. He directed this, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He's an amazingly talented juggler and circus performer and
Pixie.
costume maker, leather worker. Chris Murdoch, please come to the stage, sir.
Murdoch.
Welcome. Hello. Woo. Hey, we've actually got some wooing.
Whoa, yeah.
You can feel
Oh,
the
man,
end of
people
the
in the
pandemic.
building is so nice.
It is very nice.
Yeah, seeing your face.
One of these days,
nice.
this thing will be touring conventions, and we'll have huge audiences. We'll have to deal with that, Alex. And also, you've seen her on the show before, and we're very happy to have her back. I'm just going to go with what she said earlier, the queen of fucking everything, Lala McCree.
That was a joke.
Yeah, well, it's stuck. Oh, Ryan, what's up?
We've had our first channel point redemption,
Oh.
and the audience wants to hear your best goat scream.
I'm going to apologize to O'Brien at first. I realized I should have warned you. It's about to get a little loud. So welcome to the show. That's it. That's the
normal.
best I got. I don't know.
Yep.
That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it was worth 1,000 points.
That's like the goats are here.
It was okay.
Oh, that was a throwdown. Lala throwing down.
Wow.
Goat down.
It's like you'll have to redeem more.
Yeah.
Goat down.
Okay, so today we are talking about. It started off with us. I just want to say the inspiration for the show was actually from. Was that earlier this week or last week? The raid, the horror game.
Last week.
Last week.
No, this week. That was Monday.
It's
Time
hard to
is
tell.
meaningless.
Time is soup. Welcome to the TVA.
Did you just say time is soup?
Time is soup.
Time is soup. I
Time
like
is soup.
that. Yeah.
Not a sandwich.
Yeah. Have you seen the movie Aragon? Like the
Yes.
really terrible. Did you notice that in that movie, Sam Neill with anus mouth says, "Time moves squiggly," and it's supposed to be time moves quickly, but he definitely says time moves squiggly. And truer words have never been spoken.
Time moves quickly.
Yeah.
It does. It really can. Okay, so we raided a channel of a friend, Trevor Rogue, and she was playing a horror game, and that got Roz on a real horror kick. And we were going to do an episode completely about horror, but now it's like a split. We're talking about fear and horror.
Yeah, we were more curious. The more we talked about it, the more we were talking about what scares you.
Yeah.
And why do we experience fear, and what does that do for us? So, thoughts?
That's pretty open-ended.
Yeah, she just dropped us right in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, because
Why-
we've already had a bit of a chat about it this week. Because we got here.
I think,
and asked you guys to come.
Fear is just like a really outdated response if you're thinking about moving through the ages and time and everything and evolution, because it used to be something that would protect you from death.
Yeah.
If you felt the fear response, then you would be in real trouble, and you'd be in trouble of getting maimed or losing your life. And now it doesn't really serve us in an everyday capacity.
I'm glad you put every day on there, because yeah, I think that there's certainly still threats all
Yeah,
the time.
but we're not going to get eaten by a wild animal, generally speaking, where
Most
we
of the
live.
time. Depends on where you live.
The geese are pretty fucked up, just saying. But, you know, in terms of talking to your boss about something important, or, you know, maybe driving downtown really freaks you out, then that same fear response doesn't really serve a person well.
True, but the fear response hasn't really adjusted, has it? Like, it can be about the same as like, oh shit, a lion.
Yeah.
When it's
Oh,
like,
it's really old software. Yeah.
yeah, it's really
Yeah.
old software.
Really old.
Okay, so that was an interesting summation of that. Like, call it. What did you say? It's outdated.
Well, yeah, basically it is.
So how do
it's
you-
antiquated because it doesn't serve us. It spoke to us from a very long time ago.
What do you do to overcome fear? What triggers fear for you that you can overcome? And having that like opinion of it, do you find it really easy to deal with?
Well, no, because I have anxiety.
Ah.
So I have to deal with that in different ways. But I don't know. I do think, like, speaking from someone who suffers from that, you don't really find anything that is helpful to you that isn't a logical fashion. You can speak to yourself in any kind of way that makes total sense, but your body will continue to panic, and maybe that's those neural pathways that just won't let go from thousands of years. Not sure.
That's really interesting.
What triggers fear response in you most of the time? Like, what? Like, is it normal things, or is it?
So personal.
Wow.
You don't have to answer if you don't want to. If it's too personal.
Well, no, actually, I find some things that other people find scary, or some people might find scary, I find those okay or soothing or acceptable. And
Oh.
then other things that are very logical, I find those scary.
Now, one thing I would be interested to know is, do you think that the fear response is that outdated, or do we live in an overstimulating world that is
I don't know.
designed to continuously trigger fear
That's
in order to
interesting.
keep us buying things?
But
Because I
also
feel
if a
like
lion-
that's the greatest function of fear in society now.
Nowadays?
It's kind of a level of social control.
Maybe, but I mean, a lot of us are still experiencing the fear of like those natural fears, like the creepy crawlies.
Yeah. Do you look at me pointedly because you know I have a fear of bugs?
I do.
What kind of bugs?
Especially flying bugs.
Huh.
And it's not a fear like I don't get. It's not paralyzing fear. If I see one, I'm not like if I see a spider at home, I point it out to Ash, but it's because I'm going to kill it. Because I'm
Oh,
I'm
right.
aware of the fact that I'm gonna win most bites.
Right.
What the fuck? Oh! Oh, loot bug. Oh, loot bug.
Hi, buddy.
Controlling the other end of that.
Are you gonna?
Did you put
murder
something in it?
Actually, yeah.
exclusively and then see what comes out of it?
Gold.
Oh.
A lot of people like have the experience to the reaction that you see a spider, or my partner is terrified of bees.
Oh.
And a response that is as though it was intense, like you're on the verge of serious harm. But a spider is not going to cause you any real serious harm.
Well, not most of the spiders here. Like a brown recluse we have here, and they can do some pretty bad damage.
But that also
and we have
kind of
black
speaks
widows.
to phobias too, because it's something that's not logical to other people, but you can't speak to how that affects
Yeah.
the person that's suffering from it. It's an illogical fear.
I've also met a lot more people with intense arachnophobia in countries or areas that don't have poisonous
horrible
animals. Whereas a lot of people who I've met in like tropical countries, they see poisonous animals and they're like,
Yeah.
throw it away. Like,
Casually.
That's fair.
It's better to like approach it to them and just get it out of your space than it is to be afraid of it, which is also interesting.
Yeah.
That's a really good approach.
Yeah,
Practical approach.
what does fear do for you now, right?
Depends on the stimulant. Ryan?
I was gonna say we got a Make It Spooky redemption. So for those in the chat, if you are seeing the lights flashing, that is one of our channel redemptions.
Oh,
called
spoiler.
Make It Spooky. That was pretty spooky.
Classic sign of ghosts.
But speaking of which, I am irrationally afraid of 3 things, even though I put up 4 fingers. Bears. And so when this bear was out on the table, I thought you were in my head. I am terrified of being camping in the woods and a grizzly bear just bursting through my tent and eating my face off. I'm pretty convinced that's actually how I'm going to die.
It wouldn't be me in your head. It'd be, I think, Josh. I think that's his.
Yeah.
So shout out to Setdeck
Yeah.
for being in Ryan's head.
And for the loot bug.
little gray aliens, like what was that movie from the 90s, Fire in the Sky?
Oh, yeah.
Still probably
Oh.
the scariest movie I've ever seen in my life, because like the thought of like waking up in like a gooey gray alien pod is like just nightmare fuel for me. And then just like late at night when you're like sticking your foot like off the edge of your bed, just like feeling some like slimy fingers reach out from like the nether darkness beneath your bed and touch your foot.
Slimy?
My partner has that one. Always with the tucked in sheets.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have a
Maybe
cat
touch
that
your feet?
Which
gets my
she's
feet.
short, so it fits. She just top of the bed. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
My fear is very real, and it's the cat that gets my feet if they're out of the blanket.
Oh yeah, I cat sitted your cat. His cat goes for feet in the middle of the
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like a dick. It's really funny. What is the most irrational fear that each of you have, if you're willing to share it?
I got my big one is deep open water.
Oh, that's rational. No, that's irrational.
yeah, it
fear.
is.
I share that, and it's not irrational at all.
But the ocean has tried to kill you numerous times.
This is true.
In environments that I know are safe, when I get past that edge, it's a very, that one freaks
is
me
it-
out. I
is it-
grew up around rivers and like swimming a lot, and I whitewater kayaked a lot, and there's something about still deep dark water that
It's terrifying. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a vast unknown. And I mean, and that's just a fear in itself, is a fear of the unknown that like is pretty common amongst most humans.
that's yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's just like, you're out of your element. You go from the top to the bottom of the food chain as soon as you're in the water. And there's horrible predators in there, like real ones.
This is making it worse because when I find what my irrational fear is, I'm not going to be ready. So,
Don't you think that if you were ended up in the ocean just treading water, the likelihood of you running into something out there is real slim?
It's a lot higher than running into it on land.
Is it?
Yeah, a shark? Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think the odds of you meeting a grizzly bear and it eating your face are way higher.
I
Not
mean,
if you're
yeah,
in a
the odds of
sea.
running into a shark in deep water versus on land are significantly better.
That's what I'm saying.
And a shark, you never know.
Yeah, if you stay the hell out of treading deep water, you're never gonna get eaten by a shark.
I think more people get messed up by land animals than sea animals, right? Each year. I mean, mostly because we know where we should be.
It depends on how you classify a hippo. Hippos are responsible for most of the human deaths per year in like animal attacks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna say deep water animals since that's.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fair.
There's
So
a lot
now,
of
is your
crazy things.
fear? Do you consider your fear irrational, or do you react irrationally? Like, do you have a really
question.
intense and strong fear reaction, or do you?
That's one of the only things that I've experienced that gives me like a paralysis reaction,
Oh,
where I'm like,
that's not what you want.
I'm out of the boat, I do my thing, and I'm like, no, back, and I like back to the boat immediately, and at moments when I'm not expecting it, right? Or like I was snorkeling on the Great Barrier Reef one time, and I was just enjoying myself and just kind of zoning out, and then I hit a cliff. And it just dropped away, and there were big shadows in the darkness, and just cold water rushed up and hit me, and it's just from 15 feet deep coral reef with tropical fish to just like leviathans in the abyss, and I was back on the boat in like seconds.
Yeah, that's fair. Yep.
Yeah.
That's super scary.
Wow.
My God.
That's a good story, though.
Yeah.
Lala. If you want to share it. No, you could share, like, something small if you're
Sure, yeah, something
Cool.
small. Sharks, not a fan. They're really beautiful creatures, and I can appreciate them for what they are. Very impressive, but I don't want to see one. I want to be next to one.
Yeah.
I want to hang out. So I went snorkeling with sharks
Excellent segue.
because I was terrified. So I thought, cool, I should probably do that, right? And it was in a more shallow lagoon where they were everywhere.
Oh.
Well, it wasn't shallow, to be honest. It was really scary. So anyway, I got in there and everything, and I went across with my partner at the time and swam across, saw everything. It was all beautiful. I was crying in my snorkel the whole fucking way. And we finally got to the end of it, and I was really proud of myself, and I took all my stuff off, and I was like, baby, could you hear me crying? He's like, oh, babe, everyone heard you crying. And I'm like, cool. But I did it,
Hell yeah.
and I'm planning on doing it again.
So wait.
It's really embarrassing that people can hear your snorkel noises, but you can't because you're underwater, but your snorkel is above water.
Yep.
I saw a turtle once and got really spooked. And Matt was like, everyone hears you screaming through your snorkel. And I'm like, no, I'm
Yeah.
fine. But I don't have my glasses on, so it just looked like a big floating shape. It was
Yeah.
very scary.
Oh.
It
It was a really nice
amplifies.
turtle, nice
Yeah.
moment. I screamed.
Oh.
But
scared
things
by a
I spook
turtle.
easily, so that's easy.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, how big was the turtle?
It's a big turtle, like a big
Oh.
turtle.
I mean, it could probably mess you up.
No. No.
Yeah.
This was a
On-
very gentle, nice turtle. I'm
On
just an idiot.
that same trip to the Great Barrier Reef, we were about to get off the boat, and they were like, "Hey, everybody, Sammy's here. He's a big groper who likes to hang out under
Groper?
the shadow of the boats." Yeah, right. Groper, however.
I think it's
What?
grouper.
He's a
Grouper?
fish.
Yeah.
I've heard like, however you want
I'm
to
also
Sexual
Sammy.
harassment
pronunciate-
case waiting to happen.
Also Sammy.
Graupa. Yeah, anyways, so Sammy is a groper who likes to hang out under the shadow of the boat
I've met
and wait
Sammy.
for tourists to feed him.
Okay.
The sentence keeps getting better.
Yeah.
And so people are getting in, and you would hear people be like, woo, when they get in. And I was like, oh, it must be really beautiful. And so I jumped in, and I turned around, and there was a face the size of a fucking car.
Oh my God.
Like, I was expecting, I've seen groupers, graupas before, and they were like this big. I'm like, that's a big fish. Its face was the size of a car, man. And that also triggered a bit of a fear response.
Yeah.
But it wasn't deep water, so it was all right.
Oh.
It was just a bit like,
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. But I also got in the water and I went, whoa!
It's a little more shock than like a panic.
Yeah. And every time
That's
I thought
fair.
it was people getting in and being like, woo, I'm snorkeling.
Not like, oh God.
No.
Nope.
Sammy.
Giant face.
Yeah.
Sammy the groper.
Okay. So now, what have you done for circus stuff? Like I know you've trained in a bunch of different aspects of circus.
Because like a lot of people are also a fear of heights and fear of things that circus brings a lot of those elements to us.
Performance anxiety.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. That's actually probably my greatest relationship with fear is performance, with like kayaking and skiing and some mountaineering and stuff, and then definitely circus. I didn't do fear-related stuff in the circus.
Okay.
Pretty much everything I did was on the ground. So like, the hardest, most dangerous stuff I did was handstand and throwing knives into an object that my friend was balancing on his face.
That sounds pretty scary.
Yeah,
I mean, it was
but not
5
for
feet
you.
up and he had a fencing helmet on. So
So it's more of a fear of failure, less of a fear of injury.
Well, and fear of my friend's face. He's a good-looking dude. You know? Yeah.
And he's a friend.
Yeah.
Not like,
Yeah, but
could
I
just
did all the hippie shit in circus. Like I did all the fire spinning things, and then I did contact juggling because labyrinth, and then I did a lot of like directing and teaching.
So now fire, like I've spun fire a bit, and I'm a rookie, but it's a little intimidating. Like learning the mechanics is one thing, but the first time you set that shit on fire, it's like you kind of have a moment of like, seeing people do it, you're just kind of like, oh, cool. But then when you do it, there's a little bit more heat than you expect, and it burns it's closer than you think.
Yeah, I think especially if it's poi, because a torch, like if it's a one-ended torch or a staff, you can do this.
Yeah.
Just be like, fire burns up, it's fine. But poi dangle, and so you have to start
You gotta
moving
move.
them. And if you get like uncertain about it and just stop, then it licks your finger.
Yeah.
That's not awesome.
It's
I have a good story about fear and fire to tell you about.
We'll come back to it.
And the audience wants to hear Roz's best goat scream this time.
It was your idea.
What are you talking about? I want an encore. Again, only better.
Wow.
Have you met a goat?
Minecraft.
Is there a small goat stuck in your throat right now? Like, that was incredible.
Really? Okay.
That was great. I'm going to say thank you. Thank you dearly to whoever redeemed
Yeah,
that.
well done.
That was amazing.
Well done.
Oh, was that you? Oh, thank you. That was
He
great.
screamed, I want my money back, remember? Okay.
That was fantastic.
Okay, you said you have a really good
Yeah,
story.
so I did a show in Australia in a huge auditorium, and it was one of the biggest shows I did. And I was quite young. I was just on a festival circuit, and some dudes were like, "Hey, we need extra fire spinners for Krusty's Demons of Dirt. Look them up. They're a dirt bike crew who does just crazy shit. Like one of the guys was the first person to do like a release backflip and catch the dirt bike again.
Oh, damn.
They've got a dude named Big Bubba who's like this 300-pound guy who like does tricks on a bobcat by cantilevering the backhoe arm.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, so we're we're spinning fire for these guys, and they introduce a dude after our show called the Flying Hawaiian, and there's a like montage of his clips, and one of them he goes off a sand dune and free falls for 5 straight seconds, and when he lands, the impact to his body just crumples him, and he's just on the ground and completely messed up, and there's first aid and what have you. He comes up to us after the show, big ripped dude on a motorcycle with ladies all around him, and he's like, "Yo, you are the fire spinners." This look of awe in his eye, and goes, "Isn't that dangerous?" I went, "How many bones have you broken?" And he had to start counting. He's like, he starts on his wrist. 1, 2, 3.
Oh my God.
So how's that for fear?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's all relative, really. Yeah. I'm not particularly scared of fire as much as I am water, so that's interesting. Roz, you haven't chimed in much about this whole fear thing. What are you scared of? Being put on the spot?
Things. I think I practice with the performance anxiety a lot.
Oh.
Because you have to practice at it if you're not someone who's just naturally like one of those people. So I do practice at that, and I spend time I've never done Toastmasters, but I had to give presentations in science, or when like DMing here and live and stuff, and you want to be a dungeon master, and you just have to like jump right in, and that you have to just get over that fear of people looking at you while you make stupid faces and make stupid noises for everyone to enjoy. And that is just something you have to do over and over. So I deal with that. But I have a real irrational fear that is dumb of zombies. Right, Ryan?
Just one word in the chat from your sister, failure.
Oh. Brutal.
So you've never had
You're
to
not
face
calling her
fear.
that, right? You're saying
She
that's
has
her
a fear of failure.
Yeah.
Yeah, fear of failure.
Yeah, not that you are a failure.
Oh, yeah. Fail.
Just like failure. You're a failure.
You're a
I did have a question about that I was going to ask everyone, but sorry, well, you blew over it. Did you say you have an irrational fear of zombies?
Yes. Every time I drive past a graveyard, I just got to keep 2 eyes on it, just to make sure. Just like as we slowly go
2
past.
eyes while you're driving?
Yeah.
That's not sorry.
Do you have a Tesla?
No, but I should get one just in case.
Autopilot?
But I can tell like the passenger person will be talking to me, and I'm like, Okay, we're past. Okay, what were you talking about? I'm sorry.
I can see that moment at the dealership. So why do you want a Tesla? Zombies.
Graveyards.
I just need to keep 2 eyes on the graveyards at all times.
What's up, Brian?
I was just gonna say, speaking of zombies, the one recurring dream I have is a zombie killing dream.
Fun.
And it is like the best fucking part of my year when I have that dream.
Hell yeah.
I'm just fucking murdering zombies. I one time had a dream I could fly and control time in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. It was the greatest thing that had ever happened to me. It was incredible. It ended with me, I just saved Scarlett Johansson from the zombie horde.
Oh, okay.
Nothing sexy happened. I
Okay,
just
whoa,
picked her
whoa,
up.
whoa, whoa.
I just picked her up off a building, took her to a different building. I was like, you're safe now. My job here is done. I have to go. And I like flew to this beach, and it was like a tropical beach at sunset. I just land on this beach, and I'm looking out at these like palm trees and sunset, and just puppies come from the side and just like cover me. I've just killed like millions of zombies with an AK-47 while flying in the sky in slow motion, and then I land on a beach and just puppies.
You can fly and control time.
Yeah.
You've got ScarJo and puppies, and your weapon of choice is an AK-47.
I don't know, it was like a gun. It was a gun. I wasn't
Oh, okay.
like paying super close attention to the model of the gun at that point.
I learned way too much about Ryan from that. Like just too much. That was
great.
Honestly,
that was heavy.
a lot of
Wow.
that was also very vanilla.
Oh,
Seriously.
why are you critiquing someone's dreams?
Because I'm a dick, apparently.
Don't kink shame Ryan. His thing is to reject Scarlett Johansson and then die in a puddle of
No,
puppies.
not reject. Save her, but not need anything else from her. Which is interesting and weird.
And then
like-
the epilogue was like the post-credit scene of Kingsman. With the Swedish
I
princess.
have a question for Lala because I'm scared of zombies, and I think dead things are gross, but in a fun way because I do like to dissect things as a scientisty person. We are curious, but the idea that they would come back to life and be all still rotting and gross, and they eat brains. Brains are gross. But you love death stuff and stories about serial killers and murder, and is it because it scares you, or what is it about it, that fear part that's fun?
Oh yeah.
Huh. Well, it doesn't scare me.
So it doesn't scare you. That's
No.
probably the key part.
Yeah, like I can't really find a horror movie that scares me, that bothers me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Like
crazy.
whatever different type of thing, it's all just kind of...
No, it's entertainment. It's nice. Actually, every night when I go to sleep right now, I've got my AirPods in and I listen to scary stories to tell in the dark right before I go to sleep.
That's a good one.
It's nice. It's comforting. But
Also, she makes wounds, so
Yeah.
like horror and gore in a horror movie has to be removed.
But
from
like,
someone
guess
who is
so.
like a
jump
part of
scares
that
don't
process.
get you...
I can get God on a jump scare.
Yeah.
I mean,
jump
like
scares are
anybody.
cheap. They're cheap.
Yeah,
What
but
about
I've
the-
seen way more scary things in real life than I've seen in film.
What about the proper like psychological horror shit? Does that?
I think that's
get you?
great. I mean, it's okay. I'm a sucker for really nice vis effects, which is just blasphemy being a makeup artist, but I like a mix of practical and that. I think it's just beautiful, and I really like supernatural. I really like ghost stories, things that connect
Oh yeah.
in that way.
But none of it scares you.
Nope.
Do you ever get scared by non-horror movies? Like documentaries?
I mean, yeah, that shit's terrifying.
I get scared by like over-saccharine family entertainment.
Oh.
I'm just like, this is someone's mind. No, I can't.
Like what?
Like I don't know. Like overly Disney stuff.
Really?
Yeah, like stuff
all
like
of
that.
Disney?
No, like not all of it.
Old Disney?
Like maybe.
Like the sequels to a Disney movie. You know,
Yeah.
the first one
Oh,
might have had
yeah,
some real stuff.
Yeah,
The
like
second one is
like
just like,
the
everything's gonna be fine.
overly safe, like children's shows and stuff like that aren't like Teletubbies and aren't a little bit weird. Like the stuff that's just like too aggressively normal weirds me out.
Aggressively
Not too
normal.
Yeah,
weirds you
it's
out.
just uncomfortable.
So what I'm finding fascinating here is if you say you don't get like a fight or flight sort of fear response from horror movies, then
No.
is all of the fun of horror movies just in like the skill of the craft?
A lot of it is, and I can appreciate that. I mean, beautiful costumes, beautiful makeup and hair and set deck and props.
But you could get that in fantasy.
All that's
or
beautiful.
Drama.
But I do like the genre a lot. I like that element. So
And if you're listening to scary stories or like serial killer stuff, then
Yeah.
so where's the fascination lie? I don't.
Do you like to watch movies with other people? Like, do you like to enjoy other people being
being scared?
scared?
Oh no.
Okay,
No.
I'm just guessing.
I mean, that's
I
not
do.
true. I've done this to Sarah a lot, but I kind of like scaring her a little bit. But I mean, she's a great sport, so it doesn't matter. But I know I don't like to see people suffer. I really don't like that aspect of it. So, I mean, my like of the genre definitely wouldn't pertain to like slasher films and things like that. That's
Okay.
not really my thing.
Oh, okay.
It's more supernatural horror.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the same. Slasher flicks don't really do it for me so much as
Yeah.
supernatural darkness, cosmic horror, all of that.
Absolutely. Like I took this group
Slashers.
a few years ago to a graveyard to do a seance. And we carried all the lanterns in and everything, and I had my pack of spell stuff, and some of them couldn't even come in. Like they were so afraid of what was happening.
Of just the graveyard?
And even any mention of being there, well, we were there at midnight, but like any mention of anything terrifying or anything scary, and they would be just screaming, and some of them just couldn't stay to finish it. But I don't know. I can't imagine feeling that way about a film.
Yeah, interesting.
I've definitely been scared shitless by some movies.
What horror movie scared you?
Let's start in order. What's the first horror movie that scared you?
I'd say the most impactful stuff when I was a kid was Nightmare on Elm Street, but that was because it was because of the fact that he kills you in your dreams. So then I had nightmares about Freddy, and then I had like the logic of like, but that's where he can kill you.
That's
was
why
the
it's so
scariest-
perfect.
That's why it was
especially
perfect.
for kids.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
Super freaky.
Yeah.
But older, the thing that lingered with me, didn't scare me while I watched it, was The Ring, or Ringu, because I watched the original first.
Which is so much better.
Watching it, I was just like, it didn't scare me. The visuals didn't scare me. It was whatever. It was afterwards.
I was literally typing that as you were saying it.
Ringu?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like the movie, not that scary, but the after effects, kind of
Yeah.
scary.
I used to live in a place when I lived with my parents because I was still living with my parents, and like the living room where the TV was, long hallway to my bedroom. And for like a year after watching that movie, they'd go to bed, I'd stay up really late watching TV. When I turned off that TV and started making the like long dark walk, I like hustled my step. I was getting the hell to bed and away from that TV because I didn't want it turning on behind me. I was so scared of that happening. And if she came out, honestly, I'd try and fight her. But I'd be like,
About
bring it!
neat
Do your
stuff,
best.
So I want someone in our chat triggered a scare you, and I want to do it with a science fact.
Ooh, good approach.
I know. So this is true. There is a transmissible spongiform encephalopathy. So like mad cow, or in humans it's called Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. So a prion disease, and it is called fatal familial insomnia. You will actually
Stay
stop
awake until you die?
sleeping until you die.
Nice.
Stay awake until you die. It is a rare genetic brain disorder, and you'll have insomnia that gets worse and worse until you die. There's no cure if you catch it, and you will last for a few months to maybe a few years.
A few months.
You get hallucinations, you get delirium, dementia, and eventually death. And you catch it if you have direct contact with infected tissue, just like other prion diseases.
Nice.
So anyone could catch this.
Wait, with infected tissue? So if someone has it and just like...
Not just touching it,
Puts
it's
their
usually in the
tissue on
brain
you.
because it's the
Oh,
folding of protein.
so you gotta like rub brains.
Don't lick anybody's brains.
I'm not worried about
Basically.
that.
But like people.
I mean, that cancels my Saturday night, but whatever.
There's actually a film
I
out
think that's
there.
great.
Oh,
That's-
lobotomy.
Yeah,
like-
right. It's pretty scary though.
Yeah, there's a film out about that. I just saw the preview about people not being able to sleep suddenly anymore. How it breaks down society like immediately.
It'd be pretty quick, yeah.
Can't remember what it's called.
There's I learned, can you check this, Ryan, to see if it's true? But there's a thing I heard quite a long time ago that if you're awake for, I can't remember how, I think it's a week, without sleep, like no sleep at all, that the mechanism in your brain that, because you see, everything your eye is seeing is actually upside down, like the light enters and then your brain flips it, but that part of your brain
Physics.
relaxes. And then everything that you're seeing just goes, and everything's upside down. Is that? Can you see if that? I don't know what to search, but yeah,
Well, maybe while Ryan's looking that up,
that doesn't scare me.
You
like
you can. There have been. I don't think they've ever studied this on humans, which is probably a good thing. But they have tested it on animals in a laboratory setting, and a prolonged period of sleep deprivation can result in death.
That's pretty shit.
Sure,
They
but
did that to
you
the
can't
animals.
see the vision thing, whether your vision inverts.
Okay, let's see.
I have a
wanna do
question for
other
everyone.
things. Wait, just quickly, because there's one more redemption of Scare Trevor.
Oh.
And if that didn't scare you, because it doesn't scare you, what about visuals and seeing things? We found something weird looking at last week's episode.
Okay.
Alex, can you put up the picture?
What?
Right? So, can you?
When's the
spot
zombie
what's
scare
going
gonna
on?
happen? When's the
Happening
zombie
in,
scare?
We just noticed it while we were delivering the episode back so that it could air on YouTube.
Zombie scare.
And in the rocks,
Oh, wait a minute.
in the back behind you,
Wait.
something weird is happening.
Oh, that's great.
What's happening in the rocks? I don't see anything.
You'll see it when you see it.
It's crazy. It's crazy. In the episode, you can see it in the background. It's so weird.
Look at this. Look at this. Do you recognize?
Any faces?
recognize this little
It's-
goatee
is
here?
that Richard Nixon?
Is there?
The rock's all your face.
I can't tell from here. Oh, that's funny. But so that didn't scare me. But what did just scare me right now was I was focusing on this and I went, "There's something behind you," in my head, because I thought that you were directing my attention there and that something was going to come from here. But that would have been good.
Look at that
Oh,
later.
it is all my face. That's messed up.
Whoa. Okay, I see it.
That's disturbing. Okay. That's you had a lot of fun with this.
I had a question that I wanted to ask people.
Do it.
What fear do you seek out?
Ooh.
So
like
Lala,
Trevor
with
Junkie?
her response, I would have expected it was like horror films, but she's not
clearly
viscerally
not.
scared of that. So
Like
yeah,
for fun?
yeah,
Or for like a
almost everybody has it, and that's why a lot of people watch horror films or
Yeah.
go on big rides or
Yeah.
weird shit.
That's a good question. What fear do you seek out?
I like roller coasters. Yeah, and especially that when you're first coming up and you're cresting the top of the edge, where you're up as high as the highest point of the coaster, and you're just like, this is dumb. It's the same feeling that I get high diving platform jumps. You know, when you first step off and you're like, this is stupid. It's really fun, and then you crash into the water and you're like, wee.
Yeah, is it the moment of weightlessness or the visual stimulus? being at the edge.
Definitely more the moment of weightlessness for me. I have a bit of an inner ear stuff where it makes me quite nauseous. So I am a little bit like, especially on rides. I'm sure my sister will start to tell the story of having to stop rides many times before I vomit everywhere. But I do get that feeling of just like your whole body reacts. And I think that's part of the experience of feeling intense fear and a response that you can't control. As much as you tell yourself, I'm fine, only a few people die on a Disney ride every year, you still have that reaction. So you have fun when you know you're going to be okay.
Is that statistic true?
Only one famous celebrity has been maimed by a duck to the face.
I guess
We'll never get over that story.
I guess the only one I really
Fabio.
seek out, and it's
Look it
not
up.
all that active, is horror related, and it's been less because my Ash, my current partner, does not enjoy being scared. Doesn't enjoy horror movies, doesn't enjoy like haunted houses and stuff. And I used to watch a lot of horror movies and go to like all the horror events that I could. So I guess there is something I like about it, and I don't like the jump scares as much. Like that quick adrenaline jolt is kind of something that's fun, but it gets old real quick.
Yeah.
I like the things that like really creep you out, where you're sitting there and you're just like that anticipation. That gets me. That's what I think I enjoy the most out of something that's scary in like a movie or a haunted
I
house.
thought the Paranormal Activity movies do that really well.
Oh yeah.
'Cause they're like, we're watching the frame, just like we're all watching this image.
Yeah.
And we're waiting for something to happen. Like you were worried something would jump out
Yep.
behind you. Because it's that same response, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That creates a tension that doesn't break without those jump scares.
Yes.
But always kind of feeling like it's coming, and that's more effective.
Yeah. It's a thing that bothers you for a long time at like 3 a.m. when you wake up,
Yeah.
and that you just can't shake it. And your mind makes more out of it and has fun with it.
I used to seek out real paranormal. I had a huge fascination with ghosts for quite a while when I was a lot younger, and trying to find as much evidence of that as possible. Yeah.
Sorry, you could have waited, but the audience would like to hear Mr. Murdoch's best goat scream
great.
now. That was actually pretty accurate. That was like pretty true to life goat scream.
I looked some up.
Just at home at night. You're
Now
like,
the
"Babe,
sides of my
I gotta
face
watch all these goat videos. It's homework for work."
Chris O'Brien. Oh my God. The sound of me. My face.
My God. We're building up to a Lala by the end.
Yeah, she threw the gauntlet down, so I like that.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if it doesn't happen.
Wait, do you seek out anything that you're scared of?
Yeah, like talking to people.
Talking to people.
Like every day. Or at a party.
For a half a second, I thought you said talkative people, and I was like, oh shit.
Not too far
I talk all the time.
Do you avoid party situations?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just wish I'd just melt into the floor before I say something stupid.
Do you have that feeling of excitement when a party plan gets canceled and then you don't have?
Oh my God, there is nothing better than a delicious cancel.
Yes.
Holy shit, that's the adrenaline rush you get with horror movies. I'm like, oh, they canceled. I'm staying home with my cat.
Wait. Someone else. So wait, for canceling plans for you, is that someone else canceling the plans, or?
Oh yeah, because it's not on me.
Oh.
That's the ticket.
I take great pleasure in being the one who cancels. It being like, yeah, I can't make it, blah, blah, blah. And then like someone's like, oh, okay. And then like the moment it's over, it's like, oh yeah.
Oh my God, we'll make plans all the time. I'll cancel.
Oh, I love having those friends. Those ones who like, you do like to see them, but you both cancel on each other a lot and never give each other shit for it. Oh,
It's so cool
yeah.
when you just be honest. I don't want to come because I don't feel like it. Okay.
I'm sorry to all those people who think it's cool, and I do that too all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're cool with it, and they're just like, you're a bad friend. Sorry.
I mean, it can't have happened that much over the last year and a half.
Yeah, right.
I'm actually looking forward to making plans and canceling them.
To canceling. Excellent.
Wait. Never mind. I was like, have you ever canceled plans on me? And just to be like,
No.
because we play D&D, it's fun. Who
Yeah.
would cancel that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't cancel that.
Right?
Ash would. Okay. Fear as a motivator. Is there any way that you find that either consciously or subconsciously you use fear as a motivator for getting stuff done either professionally or personally?
Yes.
How so?
I mean, chronic procrastinator, for sure.
Yeah.
But most of the things that I've done that I get hooked on
Make it spooky.
are spooky. Most of the things I get hooked on are like you. Yeah. Hi. Gosh. Once again, set deck, everyone. Set deck. Set deck.
Thank you, Josh. Josh is
Help you with that
messy.
blood.
Yeah, most of the stuff that I get hooked on is like, you have to make it now. Like that, you know? Like he had to get it and nail it or else, you know, no one was gonna buy it. So, like performing, I was always very improvisational. I didn't like really like making choreography other than with other people. So it was like improvise it and hit it on the spot or the audience, you lose the audience. Or like, you know, outdoor sports where it's like you have to walk up the thing or you fall down the thing. You're right? Or like you have to make it down the river or, you know, you don't make it down the river.
Yeah.
That kind of like, so it's like a physical training and then you have to make it when it's time. And that's most of the stuff that I've been like addicted to as pursuits.
So, sort of adrenaline-based, like.
I think a mix of, yeah, like, I think a big part of that is how you channel fear into the adrenaline response. And it's that ability to sort of lower the cortisol levels through like breathing, training, and like prior experience. One of the people who makes me think about it a lot is Alex Honnold, who free soloed El Capitan.
Oh yeah.
He's got a great thing where he talks a lot, and we talk a lot about this in circus, is people think that what you're doing is dangerous or risky. And really what it should be is high consequence, low risk. So that means every time he takes a step up, he's asking himself, can he take a step back down? And anytime a gymnast goes into the air, the set of the jump is when they decide the trick happens. If you decide too early in many ways, you start to throw the trick too early and you hurt yourself. So you feel the set be right in a lot of ways before you necessarily start to throw. And so all of those things should be practiced to the point that they are high consequence, like you're gonna hurt yourself if you mess up, but the actual risk of messing up is very low. And I think a lot of that is about, yeah, channeling the fear response, but also doing that through prior experience and training. But I find that line fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you use fear as a motivator?
I have before. Yeah, absolutely.
And you have and you don't now?
I mean, I have before. I don't really do it very often. I used to sing, and I was in a band, and I'd perform and everything like that. And never got over the stage fright aspect of it. Just never got over it. I was always terrified. My heart was pounding out of my chest. It's like freaking out like I was gonna die or something, but I would make myself do it by taking like a bunch of deep breaths, which would help with the singing and help me just push the fear out. So.
I had a similar thing happening. It's weird thing is that, so I at first acting on camera, I got butterflies, got nervous, and when I early was doing stage stuff, then those went away. Like there was never butterflies anymore. I was like, oh man, but singing never got better. Singing in front of a crowd for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but the nerves were always there.
Oh, we've got so
I'm the
many
opposite.
instruments here now. Just saying.
I have faith in my ability, hopefully, to win over a crowd when they're there. And so I can recover from mistakes. But my fear of like the empty eye when I'm by myself in front of the camera, I have never gotten over that.
Oh, what helps with that is with a camera, especially live audience, you get one shot.
Yeah.
The camera, you can be like, I botched this, next.
Right?
Let's
but
go again.
I find I have that potential to get worse and worse and worse the more I botch a take.
Oh.
Yeah. Whereas like often with a crowd, say you drop a couple of times, there's this like saying that like drop a couple of times and they're with you, drop like more than 3 and they start to lose faith. And then it gets worse for the audience and the experience for the audience gets worse. So you want to avoid that.
Here's a fear moment: is seeing Alex down on down here, and not up in the booth. Is like, is something wrong?
Something's terribly wrong.
Love you, Alex.
I feel like I like when I have to do something new that scares me, but that I want to do it, and you have to take those deep breaths or do those things. The first couple times that you experience that, in a different setting and you don't really know what it is. But I like that now that I know what that response feels like, then I'm like, you're being a chicken, you're being a baby, you gotta like, oh, put your big girl panties on and do this. And I like that sometimes it's about something silly, like the first time I did a particular synthesis in the lab, and you're like, whoa, these chemicals are really dangerous, and the last person who did this blew the lab up, and I'm really nervous.
That's so cool.
You get your explosion-proof shield up, and you get it in the fume hood, and then you're like, I'm gonna turn this on, don't be scared. And you have that feeling of just like this, it's dumb to be scared of this.
Science is mad.
I don't know.
Fun. And then you do it, and you're just like, oh, this was not so bad. But then the next time you go to, you apply that to something else because you have that same response that just programmed into you, and you're like, those same chemicals are flooding you, and you're having the same reaction. I have to, get up in front of a bunch of people and do a safety talk because you're ADing for the day, and all of a sudden you're having that same response that all the eyeballs are on you, and you feel like the stakes could be more than they are, like you're dead to a lion.
I heard a really interesting thing.
Good, channeling it challenges us.
A theory about why public speaking is like the most common number one fear above death is as a tribal species, the only time we had to speak historically to the group was when we were being judged for doing something wrong.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because there is that feeling of judgment the first
Right?
time you sit in front of a crowd of people, whether they're with you or not.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Especially if they're all agreeing to be silent and just listen to you talking.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
whoa.
did you ever read Harry Potter to a bunch of grade ones? Brutal.
Yeah.
That sounds
I have.
blast.
They stare at you really intense, and you're like, I'm doing it all wrong. Oh no.
Oh
They're
God.
just like, okay, maybe this is going okay. I'm getting no feedback here.
That
No
actually
feedback.
sounds really fun.
Except all the tears over Cedric.
Yeah.
I felt bad about
Yeah.
You made it just
Wait,
all
your
like,
own tears or theirs?
that. Tears.
Oh, okay, that's dope.
I was like,
Good
why?
job. It's funny you just break down crying reading a book in front of the kids.
I'm like, oh, you were listening. Great. Moving on.
Oh,
Damn.
that was cool.
Okay, this is a bit of a fun one, but have you ever had something happen that caused a lot of fear that then turned out to be not what you thought it was and kind of embarrassing?
Getting pantsed on the playground.
No, that's reasonable.
It's not a big deal. It's fine.
I guess not. It's a
so-
huge deal when
it's
you're a kid.
Whatever. It felt like a big deal. You feel really embarrassed and scared, and then you hold your pants all the time running around thinking someone else might do it to you. And then you're just like, why? Whatever. It's just me, man. This is my body. Deal with it.
Damn.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's fair.
Learning things about people.
I think what scares us is an intimate topic.
Yeah. Anything? No? Nothing you guys want to share? Oh, Ryan, you got something.
The audience would like to hear Lala's goat scream now.
Oh.
Shut off your mics.
That was pretty good too. That was pretty good. That was pretty
Whoa, that was loud in the studio.
That was sharp.
Woo!
Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh, that
Ryan.
was good.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Also, very accurate goat tongue on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tongue really sold it.
Yep.
There's,
Always does.
I love the way they look
say
like they're
I'd say
barfing.
like-
They're just saying a thing. They're just like, hi, and they're like, "Ugh!"
I think Murdoch's was best, Lala's was second, Trevor's third, and then Roz was like a distant fourth. I'm sorry.
That's
Ouch!
bullshit.
I don't know, man. I feel like,
Drowning goat. It's fine.
yeah, the baby goat gargle was fucking
Pretty funny.
great, man.
How about a velociraptor then?
Ooh.
Would you guys say that you have a larger fear of failure or success?
Failure.
Isn't that kind of a loop?
Nope. I mean, maybe for you.
Like, I feel like a lot of people,
Nobody's actually
Have
afraid
what
of success.
look
though.
like
They're
a
afraid
fear
of
of-
failing on the way to success.
yeah.
Like,
What's to be afraid about success?
Pressure,
Maintaining
I
it?
think for some people it's pressure.
Okay.
But I think that's less about like gaining success and more about like gaining success and then needing to follow up.
I think our life is a mosaic of failure and success. And failure is how we learn to do new things. And we have successes every day that are small, sometimes very small.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's satisfying.
I think that question is heavily tied to a person's outlook on failure and success.
I guess that's true. Like, I think about, I certainly see myself as having a bigger fear of failure. Like, success, bring it on. But I think the fear of success leads to a lot more self-sabotage because you're thinking of, I think the people who have a fear of success, because I do think it's a real thing, and that there is
Expectations are set.
it's
and
it's that
can you do it again?
Your success might not deliver to what your own expectations of yourself are, and that you get to a point where this is the best I can do, and it's not good enough for what I expect from myself.
That's just failure again.
Yeah, no, that feels to me like it's looping back.
Different way of
But
defining
it's
failure.
succeeding in a goal. It's like I'm trying to build a box.
Yeah.
I build the box, but the box isn't quite square.
Yeah.
And I've
That's
let
failure.
myself down. No, but you built a box. You've succeeded in the goal.
You failed at building the box you wanted to build.
So then that's your outlook thing.
Yeah.
He's a glass half empty kind of guy.
Yeah.
But you succeeded at a way to not build a box properly.
But I think some people get lost in the chase of the thing and never want to finish anything.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's that they find the most fulfillment out of the process and don't want an end. And that's where I think the fear of success
Which
is.
means that me and Ash running a department together is sometimes very difficult. We'll often just finish each other's thing to about 80%, and then we'll just kind of hand it off.
Ryan,
We both love
Apparently,
starting shit.
the number of goat redemptions was finite, but the chat really wants me to do a goat.
It was 5.
Apparently, you can't do it anymore. Timed out.
Oh.
Ryan, go, go,
And
go,
so they
go,
redeemed
go,
and asked
go.
us anything, and the thing that they asked was for me to do a goat.
Do it.
So,
There you go.
that's
It's
what you
quality
get.
goat. Yeah. Yeah.
Get.
Nice goat.
And where would you rank Ryan in the goats?
What? No, I'm not judging people.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm first.
Yeah, 100%.
Roz is second.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, Trevor's third.
Yep.
Murdoch's fourth.
Wow.
Ouch.
Whoa.
That's
thought I did a
fair.
better
That's
goat
your
than that.
perspective. You're
That's all right.
entitled to it. I
Yep.
respect that.
I was doing an impression of, on Twitch, there's a thing called soundboards, which we might have on the show in the future, but it's one of them is a goat scream, and I was literally doing that goat scream. My
You
favorite goat scream.
qualify it.
What?
You're qualifying your goat scream.
I am,
I
because
like
I have a fear of failing at being the best.
Please accept my goat scream.
Yeah, no, the my favorite goat scream is actually there's a video of a guy talking in like, I think it's Italian, speaking to this like really evil looking goat, and he's like, and the goat's just like, and just keeps doing that. It's so funny.
That one's amazing.
You
Oh,
also
best.
have a fear of what I hid in your collar.
Is that why Ash was? Lies, lies. Oh, look at that.
Not lies.
Huh. Oh. Oh.
A fear of folded paper.
This has been delightful, and we've learned so much, everyone. I have had an amazing time.
Oh, it's a chupacabra.
It's not, it's actually Corpo Seco, which is a Brazilian folklore legend.
Oh.
Yeah, people so evil, the earth won't break them down, and so it rejects their body, and they wander the world trying to get moisture out of trees, people.
Oh my God, I want to learn more about this thing.
That's cool.
Okay.
You're welcome.
That was pretty
that's
cool.
some other zombie shit.
And
That's
I
great.
know how you did that. And now I have the pop
you,
color.
Ash.
Okay.
Always beware of
I already
the
went
magician's
over-
assistant.
all of the things for next week to check out, but just to quickly reiterate, Nocturnes episode 2 next week, finally. Shadows of Blood episode 4, episode 1 fully of E-casting on Monday, and Canadian Heritage Seconds, Terry Fox, and then we'll see you again next Thursday for more Filthy Fox, episode 50 of Filthy Talk next week. Until then, stay filthy.